The LPL returns now with TOP versus OMG Game 2. And we got through Game 1 a little bit faster than expected here, Raz, but a lot of that was off of the back of our Game 1 MVP, Knight.
Oh my god. So that's the second Zoe of the night that we had that just had complete control. Congratulations to him. Really well done. It wasn't as high of a damage percentage as Yuki had, 50-something%. Now to 35%. That's still huge. That's just him getting firm control of mid lane. Sleepy Trouble is landing into a complete 100-0.
I don't think there was enough time for it to get any higher of a damage share. Like, you needed a prerequisite amount of time to fight as a unit for Zoe to do that much damage. You need time to poke, but it was just something like a 26-minute finish from TOP, and they were in control from basically the word go. This time, hopefully, we're going to see OMG come back. They looked a little lost without Ala being in the lead, so I'd like to see them just adjust their strategy, not necessarily their priorities, but know what they're going to do if Ala isn't ahead.
Yeah, and so just taking a look at the pick ban immediately, so this is what we're looking for Game 2. I love what I see from OMG just because they've already taken away the Olaf Ardent Sensor nonsense that they've gotten from, no, Ardent, not Ardent Sense, but like Redemption pickup that they had. TOP, you don't get that anymore. Also, on top of that, look at their bottom lane. This is their duo, Ezreal and the Ornn. And remember, new Ornn now gives you a buffed up Iceborne Gauntlet and Blade of the Rune King. I think that Frozen Fist, which is the buffed up Frozen Gauntlet, is what Ezreal should be going here for. I just want to see the game at this point because it's actually really smart from OMG.
And hopefully, we see this Ornn support have a little bit more success than we've seen previously.
Yeah, Ornn support, definitely not for the laning phase. And if you're going up against Loken and Ben, Lucian and Thresh, this is definitely where you get tested. You get hooked, you get jumped on, and the snowball starts moving. Jungle is going to be looking to your lane a little bit more frequently, and Gragas has so much setup, so you definitely do not want to drop it early.
Definitely a risk and a half here from OMG in game number 2 between the series of them and TOP. Crowd has fallen silent.
I mean, I'd be silent too if I saw what level 1 happened last time around. Definitely keep yourself. Why are you walking?
Shelly, what?
He just wanted to get himself. Did he get a? No, he didn't get anything. Remember, he's Klepto Ezreal as per usual, so he definitely wants to be up in their face, looking for a cube if given the opportunity.
Look, man, after game 1, honestly, I just don't want to see Shelly anywhere near that bush or its general vicinity.
And it's crazy. This is the second chance he almost got hit, but he was in a great position in the tri-bush, so he wouldn't have. He either sees the Thresh coming up, or he dodges out the hook.
Additionally, now we have Ala on the Fiora in the top lane. Pick we've seen him perform very well on previously.
Yeah, going up against the Renekton. So 369 back on it. This is the counter pick Renekton. He had the last pick on red side, and he went towards it. I like Renekton into the option, even though Fiora just hard skills like much better than Renekton and can definitely side lane. Renekton provides his early DPS in lane, and if it's all about timing. If we get the chance to see it, then this is going to be beautiful. But when you go in for your W as a Renekton, it's instantaneous, and Fiora ideally wants to be able to riposte at the same time. Now, once again, it's really hard for you to be able to ever call out when Renekton does it, but if that ever happens, then it turns on Renekton, but usually that's when you can get a good damage across. Great trades for as a Renekton player.
And Ala already getting punished. 369 holding the wave as long as he can, denying the experience and farm. Ala down 9, but he should be able to catch some on this wave.
But just taking a look at the solo lanes for TOP, these are just both pushing lanes. Renekton, Jace. Now, Knight is a great Jace player. He's played it throughout his career. I think there are 4 picks that I know Knight for is Jace, Fizz, Corki, and Echo. Those 4 picks he's really made his own. He's done beautiful things with it. So with Jace, now that he's on the option, early on in the laning phase, he has full control. There's no surprise about that. It's going to be Icon under tower. And it gives XX a lot of time on the top side to layer down vision and perhaps look for a gank on towards Icon.
And if you're an OMG fan, this might make you nervous after last game, and I wouldn't blame you because a lot of the problems came in the early game and were snowballed into the late. So this time, OMG are going to have to play these early lanes a lot more carefully, a lot more safely if they want to make it to the mid and late game.
Ooh. And a lot of the problems that OMG faced with their solo lanes, or at least how the 2v2 worked out last game, was just how Best 16 had tried to play around it. Throughout the previous games, a lot of Best 16's play has been away from the lane. He can either get a cheap gank up top, or he lets Ale do his thing against 369 and tries to layer pressure on top of Chelly or Icon. This time around, it might be difficult with how much empowered damages that Renekton is able to layer on top of Ale. So I'm personally concerned with the dive that XX can levy top. So just have to watch out for how the trades go. If 369 can keep putting in the pressure, especially if Ale bases as he is doing now. If he teleports back top lane and still loses out in that trade, that's when you get into real danger of dive territory. XX
and Best 16 just gonna share a little bit of love there between each other, but no full engages coming out.
That was crucial for Best 16 to push him off. If he had not been there at that time, real worry is that night, and XX just dive Icon under tower, huge waves, and you would essentially just lose the game with how the CS differential is working. You lose this massive wave on top of already what CSD is accruing for Knight, then I don't know how you come back as Icon. So you have to be there for him really early on until he gets level 6.
The saving grace so far for OMG, just Best 16's pathing and the bottom lane doing.
Ooh.
Oh,
He positioned that one so perfectly. Max distance on Shockwave, so he can be able to get the hit on towards Icon on the side.
Chelly's already back, picking up the Sheen first. Not going to teleport back into lane, wants to save it, perhaps until he's pushed out. Now XX will get the scuttle for his team, however.
There's control on bottom lane too, so with the Infernal Dragon being the pickup, you already see pings being levied by OMG on the Dragon. It's something that they cannot take themselves, but they have to be concerned about and in position to contest. So real pressure is on Chelly and 5 here. They have to be healthy, because when TOP ends up moving members towards the Infernal Dragon, they're going to be the first ones, the first responders to the play.
And XX especially is just having the time of his life right now, because he can be wherever he feels is best on the map. He's not necessarily needed anywhere except for this mid lane gank. He comes in,
wow.
Icon pop! First blood for the Jason, now Best 16 chased under the tower. Should be able to make it out alive, but it looks like they get the kill, the double from Knight.
That is nonsense. And on top of that, Ale is getting jumped on by 369.
Not done yet. He's got the Grand Challenge there. Good wall from 369, but it's not going to be enough. The Grand Challenge will get the heal and the proc, but Ale taking so much damage from the minion wave and from 369 finally gets taken out from the W.
The best thing about Renekton Ultimate is how much it regenerates off of his rage. So 369 had that much damage left in the tank, so Ale knew he needed to back away. Flash Q from 369 demolishes Ale. So now you have 2 lanes getting demolished here. Not just Best 16 and Icon in the mid lane when they went for the gank. So I want to see that one first. There we go. Icon goes in so early. And sure, you'd think that he was under the guise of his W, but the AoE that Gragas has and the opportunity on top of that for Knight to be able to respond, there's way too much damage to work with. I guess we get to see us one on top of it. So it really just is a battle of how much damage 369 is doing. Because the passive was popped by Ale. The issue is he just doesn't have the damage necessary, and the proc is on the opposite end, so he wasn't going to be able to get it in time. So yeah, 369 makes the best of that one.
Yeah, taking a massive wave that entire time didn't exactly help either. So now both Ale and Icon falling down for their team. Knight going to pick up a free blue buff, and he's 2-0. Hex Drinker, Serrated Dirk. He's got a lot of damage in this mid lane already.
Yeah, and we were looking for the level 6 all-in that Icon had, so the timing was right. We wanted to see 2v2 with Icon with 6. Issue was just coordination. Best 16 was nowhere near Icon, and Icon had fully committed to the right side of the lane. It was legitimately just about how you played that fight out, and Icon played it as poorly as you can in that situation.
Right now, it just seems like full-on topside dominance here from TOP, because the solo lanes are winning by themselves, and it feels like XX is outpathing Best 16, and he just doesn't know how to respond.
If I'm Best 16 at this point, if you're Olaf, your gank pressure is being completely pushed away. You don't have a lot of gank pressure to begin with in both mid and top lane, not a lot of CC to work around with. That was your best chance. Now you're looking towards bottom lane, perhaps level 6 on 5, you can do it. Icon actually has a really good trade here.
Good trade. Not ready to commit the ultimate just yet, though.
This doesn't have a lot of information. There's no wards that OMG have on the right side of the map. So very easily you could expect that XX and Ben would be in position. So there is a world where you go in for that all-in. He has his ultimate, he has his ignite, and sure, Knight has flash as well, but you can just go for it. So I thought that was a really good trade nonetheless from Icon. Just playing risk averse.
Infernal about to be picked up here by TOP. OMG are in the area. Call the Forge God and Predator have been popped. The ultimate gets the knock up onto XX. XX secures it though. OMG just gonna have to back off.
Yeah, almost got hit by the Ezreal ultimate. Would have made things interesting. But Ben in the right position, also had his lantern out, would have been able to get in nonetheless.
Now 369 gonna take his team's red buff, and this is just cruel. XX took away the red buff of OMG, and now 369 says, okay, I'll take one of my own, and now he has so much more lane dominance top.
Yeah, it's a pretty big CS differential to begin with. I think Ala has a great wave here to work with, but with the red buff, as you already mentioned, 369 could just walk up to the wave, even tank a little bit of the trades that Ala would bring back to him, and he has the red buff sustained to work with, so he gets a full wave push, and he's just in a good position. So right now, you already made a mention of it, I'm liking all of the lanes here for TOP, just in how they can work regardless of the jungle attention.
These lanes now, you mentioned earlier, do fall off a little in the later stages of the game, so if OMG can make it there relatively unscathed, we could see them make a comeback. But right now, with this gank from XX, I don't think that's going to be possible.
Oh no, 2 lanes at the same time.
Shelly getting chunked down from the culling. 5 going to knock him up, interrupt it, but now has to flash away. Not going to go for the full engage here, our OMG, but they're getting chunked so low. In the top lane, sorry, mid rather, a solo kill.
Well, this is an unfortunate game, isn't it? This just reminds me of some of the scrims I've watched. You get to a position where you're just like, it feels like an FF because everything is working against you. Not only was top working out well from just in the solo 1v1, so Ollie feels bad on his own individual performance. Bottom lane fight works out, and to be honest, I think Chelly and 5 have been doing the best of the rest of the map. They've been able to keep up, sure 10 CS behind, but it was already a poor matchup to begin with, and they were just there to scale. It's Icon, Best 16, and Ollie that are not having a good time. Oh no, great one actually. He can actually, usually if he was in a good standing within the lane, that's a point you can all in. Unfortunately, item-wise, he's just way too far behind.
Call the Forge God, but the Lantern gonna absolutely deny the engage. So Best 16 is really having some bad luck with ganks once again.
I mean, it's just hard. I mean, if you're an Olaf and your best chance for a gank is bottom lane with a nerfed Ornn ultimate, then you have a luck run of things. Taking a look at the solo kill, he must have just flashed in on Q, didn't he? Just do it. I just want to see it. Yeah, yeah. He ignited, so he didn't even have to finish up with an auto attack. And remember, if you're in Akali, the only spot in which you are visible is literally the middle of your shroud. So found that opening and went for it. This should be an easy mid lane tower too. Gets the full gold from it. Doesn't that feel good?
Split evenly onto the jungler in mid lane. Thank you very much for the money. Knight, absolutely massive in terms of gold. Just picked up 610 off that tower going down. Already got the Ghost Blade, already got the Hex Drinker. He's picking up a blue buff. He's just absolutely running away with the game once again.
And they've had full control of topside river anyways, but now with that mid lane tower being taken down, can actually push that vision much deeper. That's why you see Ben in the area. A lot more wards being placed, starting to invade the blue side jungle of OMG.
Now, things are looking really bad for OMG. If we just take stock, it's not as big of a lead as it was last game. Just 5K.
Feels good.
But it's 13 minutes in. So 5K is pretty significant. The best I can say about OMG is they at least haven't collapsed entirely yet, but that's damning with faint praise, if anything, Raz, because right now they're just not able to make the plays that they want to make.
And with the composition that TOP have, this is actually as snowball you can get. So people are just basing right now just because they want to get as large of an item for the next play. Take a look at it. Extra Dirk that you have there now for Knight. And Loken is pretty close to his Blade of the Rune King. Once he picks that one up, it's really not much you can do in any fight, any skirmish. 1v1, 2v2, full 5v5. This just happens.
You can't do anything as Icon now. You literally are not allowed to lane anymore. Once you eat that EQ combo from Knight's Jace, you're done. There it is.
Yeah, you're just going to get jumped on. Flash is available from Knight, so he's just going to stand and deliver on the turret. Icon has to leave the tower. This is just pretty sad. It's really depressing at this point. Know that best 16, he finished up his redemption, but the worst part of all of this is the build is supposed to work when you're ahead of the map, when you're ahead of the enemy jungler, because it's such a fast pickup. It's a really cheap gold item. So the idea is that you have it for yourself before the rest of the map that the opposing team really has a completed item. But this game has gone so quickly. 7K at 14 minutes into the game. That was close. That really, Olaf is just another squishy champion at the end of the day.
And to give a barometer for how much damage Knight can do right now, he nearly one-shot the melee minions. That's quite a bit of damage coming out there from Knight. So he's going to be able to move around the map. If he can ever find an angle onto a carry, suddenly they're out of the fight entirely.
Just even going more in depth on that one, he is farther in pace in terms of CS per minute. 165 CS, 14 minutes into the game. It's higher than 10 CS a minute. And on top of that, 3 kills, I mean, that helps. So overall, he's getting as much gold as you possibly can. He is so close towards having his Dusk Blade. It is absurd. No one can really match him. 5 is paper right now to Knight.
And this is the problem for OMG.
They might be able to find a little gift here.
They stop the back, but that's all they decide to do. And I think it's kind of smart to back off. They don't know where anyone is. Red buff pickup here for Loken. Once more, just roaming around the map as a team, splitting up where they can, where they need to, looking for the final outer tower in the top lane, give Loken a little bit more gold. God knows Knight already has enough.
Yeah, I know, right? I think the top lane outer turret, you already mentioned it. Oh my god. So here's the issue. I actually don't even know what the objective is anymore. Because to me, it's a top lane outer turret. Simple, easy, clean. But Knight is just looking for the end game play, the knockout play. And he is always so close to being able to get it. If he lands that shock blast, well then why don't you just go for suddenly mid lane inhibitor with the minions moving up? It can change on a dime based off these plays. Thankfully, Chelly has Iceborne Gauntlet. He has armor. Not a lot of people on this team do.
Once they get it, their chances might be a little bit better, but not if Chelly gets hooked. Goodbye. Knight with his 4th kill of the game, and now they found somewhere to send it down.
This is when you slowly start to take down the, player images on the left side of the screen from OMG. If you're a streamer and this happens to you, you don't want you don't want yourself being seen anymore. You're pissed off. Expletives all over the place. You don't want nobody to see you at your worst.
Yeah, this is the transcript of the comms from this game are just going to be a series of expletive deleted. It's going to be like the Nixon tapes all over again.
I need to see that because even that. Oh, actually, I've heard of you. Nah, I'm good. I got that reference.
Yeah.
So, Ezreal wasn't too concerned about the Shock Blast combos after taking the first one, but you're not paying your respects to Ben and XX.
Well, they're paying up, but in their lives.
So that works. So at this point in time, it's essentially writing itself. The poke that Knight is going for is really conditioning and setting people up to move towards a certain, like right now, he's actually positioning them and forcing them to move towards the wall. In that position, it was the right side where the hook was something he was looking for. Oh no. Oh no, Ale.
He might survive this one, but if a Shock Blast lands, he's in trouble.
All right.
All right. Knight was happy with that. Don't blame him.
Yeah, going right back mid. They always have mid lane push. It's always right next to the inhibitor of OMG. So Loken is not concerned. Just take a look at him slowly pushing out bottom lane. Gonna be, yeah, a lot of people are now rotating him. Gank squad, what's up? Gonna take that tower easily.
That's a lot of people.
And it's a lot. And at this point, Knight is an entire army.
And this is the problem. with this entire game so far is OMG just didn't have lanes that could compete with TOP.
Look, if I'm in solo queue and if I look top to see my Akali now working on the Renekton up top lane, I would say, what are you doing? We need help. Come.
She's like, nah, guys, FF. She's been calling for the FF for like 5 minutes and no one will say yes, so she's just playing her own game right now.
To be fair, at this point, you can't even bet, but you're just taking the wave. Honestly, at that point, what can you do? A lot of teams would try to go in for an all-in fight, but it's a 10K goal, 18 minutes into the game. I'm actually surprised with a very conservative a vote here from the Colonel. It's definitely 100% at this point. Let's put that out there.
The only way TOP would lose is if they were a worse team.
Oh, here we go.
Best 16.
It's a good call, but remember, Renekton could turn this one. Yeah, you might want to walk away. Best 16 has redemption. Okay.
Shelly doesn't. In any sense of the word, he's going to get taken out there. Once again, dying to the pressure of TOP, and this will be the inhibitor tower and the inhibitor in the middle lane. They might just try and push it down. They've got a wave.
Well, I mean, Renekton's up top lane too. If you wanted to start to, put salt on the wound, some pepper, I don't know, anything that can paprika. Yeah, exactly. Then slow this one down. You don't have to go in for an all-in nonsense. That's what happens in some of your solo queue games. You're like, this is easy. I'm not going to try as much. No, TOP tries. We saw what happened in game 1. They don't want to lose based off of one dummy play. So take a look at this. We missed this one out when Shelly gets caught out. But all you need is the belly. XX take him down.
And they blow a lot for that, but it doesn't really matter at this stage. TOP are so far ahead that in a straight-up 5-on-5, I don't feel like they actually need all that much to win it.
Just remember the resources that they're using. All right, well, I mean, Ala's just going to get chased down.
Yeah, goodbye, Ala.
All right. Now, back to my point. All of the resources they're using, they just want to be able to push for the next objective. If Shelly is down, doesn't matter how many resources they actually throw on the map, because of how strong they are, how high of a level they are overall, they can take the mid lane inhibitor, and that was the ultimate goal. Now they're moving towards Baron. They can be as low as they want because they know where the members are.
And 369 escaping a gank once again. He's just been able to dodge out every piece of pressure put out by OMG, and this should just be a free Baron for them.
And he got the most important thing, most valuable part about it was information of where the members of OMG were. Are they contesting for Baron? No, because they're on top of me.
Oh, good lord. This is so sad for OMG.
I just want to see it land. I know that Icon has a little bit of armor now, but a little bit is not enough. I just want to see one of these. I just want all of the shock blasts to land.
I want it to land on 5.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it would one-shot him.
Yeah, I think so too. Gonna hit somebody.
It hit the wave and it one-shot that, so. Knight disgustingly powerful at this point. 4-0-1, 262 CS at 21 minutes.
It's insane. It's actually
it's
crazy
disturbing
how much he CS. Very easily he's hit that 1K gold bounty, but you're not going to be taking his life, so it's like when you're watching, oh my goodness, it's like when you're watching One Piece and it's just something you have as a pride point. It's like, yeah, I'm worth 1K. Come at me. Here we go.
That's going to be an easy, clean 2-0 from TOP. OMG has nothing they can contest. They're trying to fight, but there's nothing they can do to stop the onslaught of TOP. Icon invisible, not for much longer. TOP takes it 2-0.
2-0, perfect game, the greatest of ease. There was nothing you could do about it if you're OMG. You lose every lane, solo, 1v1 top lane, 1v1 mid lane. And a lot of it was, it started with the jungle getting controlled. So that's something that you have to give to XX early on. Top side, there was a lot of control, pushing back, best 16. And so it was just unfortunate when you start to see a lot of the plays happening mid. Turn, gank on that one. Icon made a crucial mistake. Top lane, just to already talked about that 1v1, really start to turn against them because that's supposed to be the strong side for OMG, and it fell way too damn early.
And it's so hard to nail down one thing that went wrong for OMG. Because the only thing you can say if you're looking for one thing is everything.
Yep.
There was really no bright spot for them. In the early game, at best you could say that their bot lane was doing well into a very aggressive lane.
Yeah, it was their bot lane. I think Shelly and literally their bottom lane was their best members on the roster. But it just goes to show Because remember going into this matchup, we said young talent, solo laners going up against each other. Icon versus Knight, Ali versus 369. And it really did feel like that. You could throw in the junglers because I think that best 16 versus XX already had going into this one. It was really about the solo laners. The solo laners had it easily, just based off of the pressure every single time. I know this was a counter matchup that Renekton had versus the Irelia. But even in the previous matchup, when Ali had a good matchup there, he outplayed these situations. I thought that 369 came out, showed that he was the better one. Better communication as well, because in game 1 they just had XX they were in tune. So just from that one alone, it feels bad for OMG because just a small amount of advantage they run away with.
Because TOP really just outclassed them in every way, and it
Yep.
feels terrible for us because we've been watching OMG. We've been excited about them because for so long they've wallowed in mediocrity, and they've just sort of been swimming in it. And then they suddenly poke their head out of the water, and we're like, oh, it's okay. You can come out and join the middle of the pack. Come on. And then TOP is like, no. Get back in there, and they just like drown them back down.
To be fair to them, I think they can still join the middle of the pack, mostly because it's a difference of tiers right here. It's a difference of what plane are you on. Because OMG, in the past, they were the bottom team in the LPL. They've been really trying to struggle to find talent, and they found talent. Ali is still a god. He's still a really strong player, and they can reach mid-tier. I think what we're looking for, Clement has said it, I've said it, that they're a team that could be top 4 in the league. RMG right now are struggling because they need members, but even when Uzi comes back and Amazing J's been already playing a few games, then I still think that is such a key matchup. TOP versus RNG, throw in Suning, and that should be your top 4 in the league. So I think that right now TOP, upper echelon, while OMG are still trying to find it. They're finding the members, but the cohesion is still wanting.
And TOP, a lot of their dominance, of course, once again, coming in the back of our Game 2 MVP, Knight.
Oh, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
not surprised at this one. Woo! All right. Gold difference, the end of the game. It's a lot of gold for him. At this point, this is when you just look down the line of all the stats there. 80% kill participation, but why not? Like, at that point when he was dealing that much damage, he's rolling around the map. He's commanding such a lead from his own team. Ben was following him. XX was following him. Why not? So this is what I love about Knight. When he performs so well, it reminds me of someone like Kawhi Leonard. Because doesn't say much, right? People don't understand. If people understand this NBA reference, but he leads by example. He performs so well in his own matchup that a lot of the times you know where to go. That's instant direction. You go to the man who's playing well, and so in both of these games, it really just felt like Knight was able to outclass Icon, and then XX was like, okay, well I have an instant win condition there. By the end of the game, I had made a mention of it. I was like, I don't know what the win condition is for TOP because you can map it out. Top lane and outer tower, inner tower, you look towards, and then it would just be Icons like, oh, I actually just got another pick on Icon. It's like, I just got another shock blast, and that would change everything.
It's just like the most boring grocery list of all time. It's just like, okay, what do we need to do next?
Apples.
Top tower, I guess.
Yeah.
Apples. I want some rutabagas. I guess also the Nexus at some point. I think that's generally what people go for when they're on the Rift. But
the issue was there were so many options you could go for, but there was just one glaring, like, you need this one item. Apples 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Icon was the apple. They kept picking his life. At the end, they got Shelly. But both of these games, they had so much control of the mid lane that it was just like outer turret, inner turret, consistently have that shoved out, so you have no control now if you're OMG on side lanes. It was oppressive, and now I just really want to see TOP go up against the next matchup because this team's really showing up well, not just in their own individual talent. They showed us that in this game, but also just in how they're able to completely overturn a lot of strong sides that OMG had based off of like where XX was. XX went topside so much that best 16 was like, well, I can't touch that lane anymore because everything's working against me. So it's like he could really just it could feel demoralizing just based off that alone.
It was a really brilliant series from TOP there, just showing OMG exactly how outclassed they were. But we have one more series that we think is going to be better. We think.
Okay.
We're hoping.
All right.
Our match of the week, Raz.
Ooh.
It's going to be IG, JDG.
Tomorrow, too. So that's going to be fun. You just came off of this set. I mean, you're pretty hyped about TOP. Guess who took TOP down game 1 of the year?
It's these guys.
Invictus Gaming, looking so hot. I think right now, every Invictus Gaming series is the game to watch. there are two teams in the world right now that you have to watch. You have to keep your eyes open for. It is Invictus Gaming and Griffin. World champions, and Griffin, the team that got completely you know what? Bound by the rules. Only 3 teams can go to Worlds. They didn't get that chance. Now they're coming back, and they are on fire. So right now, Invictus Gaming going up against JD, and we all know what problems JD had last year. They were also bound by that same law. Couldn't go because of that same reason. And I feel like this is a team that's still growing a little bit because, you know, still have new jungler, lost Clit to SKT, and AD carry. I think Imp is still working out very well for the team. That regardless, you still want to see the mainstay players of Yagao, Zoom, looking at the bottom lane, Lu Mao as well. They still have their core players that made them look so good to begin with.
And they haven't been looking as well as we expected. Like, we had our power rankings, and the standings really don't reflect that right now.
That's true.
Especially with teams like FPX. Like, if you look at it suddenly, like, our number 6s are all the way up at number 2. I think that's where you had Funplux initially. Sino Dragon, which we expected to do very poorly, up at number 4.
Now, I had Sino, you know, mid-tier. I actually had a lot of faith for Sino, and I think it's working out well for them. But on JDG, to your point, 1-1, sure, they only had 2 series, but the series in which they played out, it was rough. Specifically the Vici series, or Rogue Warriors series. That one they almost lost, very close to being a 0-2 for them. So there are definite growing pains for this team, but what is very clear is the strength of Yagao. He is such a amazing mid laner that now getting to see Yagao versus Icon, another test to his strength. For us in the English broadcast, we had him as the Rookie of the Year in 2018. Now we get to see him come back 2019. Right from the beginning, we get to see him fire off.
Yeah, JDG, someone we're really hoping to show up in their next performances. But they're not the only series tomorrow, Raz. Our first one will be Suning versus Snake, starting at 2 p.m. our local, or 5 p.m. our local time.
Yeah, and it's going to be in the Snake pit. That's what's fun to see. You never know what's going to happen with Snake. You never know what you're going to get. They either fall flat or what we saw when they went up against EDG, insane plays being made by Asura. So it's not just Flandre, the mad chemist. I say chemist. The guy we don't know what he has up in his sleeve and pick ban. You have SOFM, an amazing mechanical jungler. But now it seems like Asura had his first few great performances when he went up against EDG. So got to see a little bit of that. I'm pretty excited for it. 2 series that should really deliver.
The power of Snake is that they always have enough to make you excited about their series. Whether they deliver or not, we're going to find out tomorrow with those series. From us tonight, thank you so much for joining in. I've been Matt Niberic Daniel. This has been Barento Raz Muhammad. This has been a Dominion production. Thank you to you all, our viewers, and our production team. Have a wonderful night, and we hope to see you tomorrow.